Our tagline for Property Lim Brothers, which is real estate with integrity. We follow very strictly on this, which is to ensure that every deal is done with integrity, because we want to go for the long game.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that it's a relational business, which means that sometimes, yes, we suffer from earning lesser.
I want to touch on this point where you mentioned earlier that it was about serving the customer. And I think that's interesting because I think not a lot of people do things because of the sake of the customer. Because like you said, right, you guys innovate, you guys try different things. End of the day, who really benefit is the customer, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the heart behind? Like, what motivates you to want to serve the customer rather than just serving, let's say, money, right? Which is totally fine if someone is just starting out. Most of us, we start out because we want to look for, making more money, right? But it's very seldom I come across people that says that, they want to be able to serve the customer better. So what's the heart behind? Like what caused that in the first place?
Right. I think for this, it will have to do, probably the main driving force will have to do a lot more with my faith, right? So as a Christian, I have certain principles that I follow in terms of my Christian faith. So actually, what happened was that I was not a Christian last time, right? Yeah. So I was of a different religion, but after that burnout incident, I became a Christian through a certain series of events. But there was a stage in my life that was like 6 years back. So 6 years back, I made a business mistake. I made a business mistake, and that time I already have 3 kids. Yeah. And that business mistake was because of a misalignment of my business principle, the way that I conduct my business. It was misaligned in terms of integrity and principles, and it's not aligned with my Christian faith. And I still remember, because of that business mistake, I suffered from a very heavy fine, and that technically wiped off my entire bank account. Just wiped off my entire bank account. So I started from scratch again 6 years back. So it was very painful, because when I started 14 years ago from scratch, I only have 1 kid. But when I have to restart 6 years ago, I already have 3 kids. My wife is a full-time homemaker. I tell myself I have to make it. I'm not young anymore. I'm already 33 at that time. So I have to make it. So I still remember at that point in my life, I told myself that, hey, I need to be aligned with my faith, and that God actually owns my business, right? So my business belongs to God, and He owns the real estate world as well. I told myself, I remember telling myself that I'm just a manager managing this business for Him, and that whichever customers that comes through my door, I need to serve them and look at them as families, and not look at them as a walking commission. Yeah, because in the past I used to look at customers as 10,000, 20,000 walking around. Yes. But 6 years ago, after I realigned, I told myself, all these people are families. Behind every family is a property, right? And for the family to buy the property is all with their hard-earned money. And I need to follow the principle in the Bible whereby it says that do unto others as if how you want others to do unto you, and love God. The second greatest commandment is to love others. So I think with that, it also formed our tagline for Property Lim Brothers, which is real estate with integrity. We follow very strictly on this, which is to ensure that every deal is done with integrity, because we want to go for the long game. Yeah. And we want to make sure that it's a relational business, which means that sometimes, yes, we suffer from earning lesser, because some products that we recommend are very low commission one, but they are good properties. And so yesterday I was just having a training session with my guys. I told them that, hey, there are 3 types of salespeople model out there, right? The first type of salespeople are people who probably think that they need to maybe live in a landed property to sell a landed property. Yeah. They need a lot of social proof for themselves, because they feel very insecure, not confident, right? Like when you go for seminars, you always see the speakers very powerful, right? They own a lot of the products that they are trying to pitch to you. I mean, that's social proof. It's normal. It's a cognitive bias. So the second type of salesperson are people probably who only recommend products with very high commission, which is what we are trying to avoid. We want to be in the third phase, whereby we become salespeople with very high emphatic intelligence. That means we are able to put ourselves in the customer's shoe, which means that we can sell all types of properties as long as we think from the customer's point of view.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we want to look forward to, and is to go for the long game. And which is why I agree with you as well. As just now you say that you always tell your students that you should look at and model people who are much higher, probably overseas. Don't look so much on your competition in Singapore.
Yeah.
And I love the quote from Jeff Bezos as well. He always say that, hey, end of the day is a customer that pays you, right? It's not your competitor that pays you. Don't stop looking at your competitor. Spend your mental energy and think of what your customer want and what they need, right? So I think if our alignment is really for the long game, and then to really look at our clients as human beings and families, then with emphatic intelligence kind of sales concept, putting ourselves in their shoes, that will have more enjoyment in the business. I think there'll be much more satisfaction because we know that the customer will come back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is so good. That was so good. I didn't expect the answer. And I didn't expect to ask that question. I just happened to hear what you said earlier with regards to, you know, serving the customer, and that is really so good. You know, I think we really shortchange ourselves just by working for money. Because I mean, money is good, right? I mean, it can help you to solve certain problem. We're not saying, you know, that we shouldn't have money, right? But working for money is going to be one of the most unfulfilling thing ever. But when you serve your customer, right? What I get from you is serving your customer, thinking from for their benefit, right? Recommending product that is good for them rather than good for your own pocket, and serving them in the long run, right? You may get and I feel that when you commit to that, you will never get shortchanged. Like God won't shortchange us, right? That when we commit to it, we commit to serving our customer. In the long run, your reputation will stand. You know, is a firm foundation. Yeah. Right. And I love it when you say it's a long game, because too many people are giving up long term results for short term gain.
Right.
And they will grow to regret it in years to come. Yeah. That was so good, man. That was so good. I want to take this to slightly another direction with just one or two more questions, if I may.
Sure.
So right now, what is your goal, or what are you guys doing right now in terms of social media? Are there any tips that you guys can give to the listeners that are listening? So my listeners are people who are service professionals, small business owners. I mean, many of them are in property as well. So like, you know, you are one of the people in the forefront, right? And what are some tips that you can give them right now? Because I know, because right now it's not as simple as just doing a video and running ads anymore, right? Because every stage, right, there'll be different wave, right? There's new stuff that you have to adapt to. Because if everybody is just following what someone is doing, then you become a follower. You're no longer setting trends. And I realized that you guys are pretty good at setting trends. Like I see your YouTube, like you guys are the first few people in Singapore doing vlogs for property. Right? It's not just vlog in terms of property, but in terms of lifestyle, in terms of like sharing about your belief and everything. So like, what are some tips that you guys have for people who are just starting out in the social media world?
Right. Yeah, I think you're right that there are various waves of trends